I guess. Hi guys, it's Alan. Again, targeted individual. When you say that people they have a hard time relating to it, it makes it sound like you're a paranoid, or if you say, and thank God for the news people for putting it out there, Havana syndrome. Because if you not, remind people about this time when this was on the news every night, the CIA, the FBI, all these people, for about 5 years, 2015, 2016, started in Havana, Cuba. The diplomats, American diplomats, being hit with this microwave pulsed weapon. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I watched news, but all I knew is, like, since I guess about 1987, I had an operation at 14, 86, 87. And within some months or a year, I started getting these zaps and this low grinding pain on my side. And they would kind of dissipate, and then a couple weeks later, or even a couple times or a few times during a week, I just locked it up, psychosomatic stress. But it kept on happening in high school. I was about to study for the ministry at the time. Went to Bible college in North Dakota, Ellendale, North Dakota, Trinity. It was Assembly of God Bible College, and it would happen to me there. And it was still happening, getting these zaps. And I went to the doctor in Ellendale, is a small little town. It used to be a teacher's college, but then the Assemblies of God denomination bought it for $1. They even have a book about it. I don't know if it's the multi-million-dollar miracle, but they bought it for $1. And the Assemblies of God, it's in Ellendale, North Dakota. And it was just this, it just kept on happening. And I kept it, I was thankful that my doctors in Dallas, Oregon, not Texas, tried different things. It took years, like, 10s units, and sent me to specialists, but nobody, of course, told me that I was part of an experiment, or I don't think they were allowed to. I don't know if one time a doctor said something like, I can't lose my license. And I thought, well, that's, because I was on a narcotic, but I was like, I'm faithful, and I don't call in early. I'm thinking to myself, like, I do a good job. I don't, mix other drugs. I didn't do pot. I think I tried pot maybe 3 or 4 times in my entire life at that time. And I bought it once for my dad, who had cancer. But I was so worried about losing, because I was always had that side pain going. And I kept on just praying, God, just let me know. Please heal it. Let me know what it is, and find a specialist. And then around 2015, 2016, all the weird stuff. And when you're not a TI, you don't believe that either. Like, if you have, you just think, well, our government's good. They make mistakes. They were bad in the past. And the people of your town are good. And, they make mistakes and all that, kind of a positive. They're religious. They're, for the most part, kind of drain the swamp conservative. Even our grade schools have Bible college. I'm not Bible college, but weekday school of the Bible. And, hey, Mr. Beachwalker, hello. Hope you're doing good. And just doing my story about this. But it was literally almost like I would say, about 30 years. And then 2017 had, because of this stuff, You didn't know there was a name for it. You certainly didn't know there was a program. You just know people are treating you strange and weird. Gang stalking is the word. It's just people are treating you weird, holding their phones up and videotaping you, and then acting like they're talking, like they know things about you that, and that stuff is real. Now, what happened is, and I was very thankful because I literally went 30 years praying, God, just let me know what this is. Because what happens is I thought, when it hits you in the heart, or in the side, it's right over here, is that it does. I remember Robert Duncan saying in one of his books, or it might have been The Matrix, that your sense of self is altered, changed. And I know what that means from going through this. See, I thought it was because of me going too far or too serious about Christianity and theology and apologetics. It was hard for me to not think of that stuff, ethics and what would Jesus do. And it was hard for me to not, but I kind of thought, well, maybe the stress of my side pain because of doubt on doctrine or the question or the anxiety of, studying or questioning doubt and trying to have faith and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I kept it quiet because I didn't want it to happen to other people. And I never once thought, because I had no enemies, I thought that these were good people, my town, and never did I thought that I had something, I thought maybe during my operation somebody made a boo-boo and slipped or, but then you find out Havana syndrome, that's in the air. And then all this stuff people started doing, the electronic ventriloquist act of what our police can do now, and using neighbors and using confidential informants, they can throw sounds. And this is still done today, where you'll see in the news, like that guy, James Yoo. He was, if you looked at his biography, the guy who blew up his house, he had the whole, the government's after him. People are, and some of these shooters and violent people, Myron May, Aaron Alexis comes to mind. They'll go up and say and write something on a Facebook or a blog, or, they're being surveilled, harassed, gang stalked, directed energy weapons like Havana syndrome, being hit in the head and hit in the heart. And for people who don't know, they'll just think, oh, you're making it up, or it's mass hysteria, and it's like, no. When you really are a TI, for me, I waited literally 30 years. So I'm so thankful for Dr. Matt Aaron or Arnegard. I don't know which, but I guess he works at the NIH. I just know he won a contest about electric eels or something in 2012. And then he had this happen to him in Canada. But I'm so thankful that he went around in Chicago and Sacramento and Portland, an hour from here. And for the first time, it's like God actually answered a prayer that I had so much, at least not the heal, but to tell me what it was going. And that this was done to me on purpose, by my very much good people, mega drain the swamp town. And that they went along with it, that they covered it up 30 years, and that they can drain the swamp 5 minutes later, chant it, and then go and try to be part of a torture, suicide, MK Ultra program. And you wonder, when you're reading history books, how does our government do that? How do they, it's like Philip Zimbardo, the teacher who made his students do torturous things by playing this role game in his class at Stanford. And people so much, I think they want to fit in that they'll zap people or they'll torture them or think they're helping out law enforcement with doing something that any child would realize this is so unethical, so immoral, evil. Anybody would say the do unto others principle, you're hurting somebody. You're trying to get them. And then these people are trying to out tough each other. Well, they're not being tough. They're trying to torture an innocent person who normally never hurt anybody. But they're part of a program and they want to belong. Whether it's called Illuminati or the deep state, or they're just a bunch of capitalists that'll do anything for money and even torture innocent people. And then later go and chant, drain that swamp, while they're taking the worst form of swamp money, torturing somebody, hoping that person kills himself. And I know in 2019, there was around the world, there's different groups of TIs that had get-togethers and gatherings, and that was right before COVID. And so, in a lot of the TI websites was putting it out there like this is how they're going to do it to the rest of the world. They're putting it out in the vaccine. And you are left there wondering, is this real? They're doing this to me, but they did this to me before I had a vaccine, and I didn't, they already did this to me after a surge, the V2K happened in, 2015, so 2016. And so there was but then it's like, is this real? So this was around, what year was this again? Well, it started when I was a freshman or sophomore, but my operation when I was about 14. And so I graduated in 89 from Dallas High School in Oregon. And then I went to Bible college in 89 in Ellendale, North Dakota. I was most friendliest in my class, most likely to be teaching scientific creationism in high school, just a regular public high school. But then this happened in high school, and then after 3 years of Bible college, interning in Iowa, then I couldn't finish my fourth year. I interned as an associate pastor for 3-4 months. And then I didn't raise enough money so I couldn't finish my schooling. You just hope for all these years, 30 years at the time, hoping that doctor or, somebody will. And then you find out through Havana syndrome and on the TV. And not only, I didn't even put that together. It wasn't until the target individual movement happened. And then you realize this is the same as the target individual program is the same thing as Havana syndrome. It's the same sharp pains. It's the same high-pitched sound. Sometimes they'll say crickety, but it's really just high-pitched, that high sound. And then you can hear, even on one of the channels, I have it on my YouTube. It's under my name, Alan Brewer Nielsen on YouTube. It's got one of the CBS This Morning, I think, where they're talking about Havana syndrome. And the lady says, I understand it's not just crickets, it's people, they can hear a message. There's a message being told them. And they're actually hearing words like a message. And that was the only time I saw somebody say that on TV. So it wasn't just chirping or crickets mating or somebody actually said there was a message. It's like this was supposed to be the thing to break it open. And that was in 2019, then COVID, and then everybody, this is supposed to be your whole life, but then suddenly 2020, people kind of, because you couldn't meet. 2021, there was a couple things, but the one in England, Mark Williams had a group, and God bless him. I think 2022 he had something too, or one of the years there was nothing. But then 2023, just some months ago in August, he had another group, about 30 people. And you're thinking, well, this is growing. This is growing, but the actual names of people doing YouTube that used to put names out are shrinking. They're not, I don't think they're dead. I just think, I don't know if they were like January 6th where they were fake, you know, or, but we're getting so much competing details. It's like, who's real, who's not real. I'm not going to call people a perk just because their program isn't like mine. Whether if they have V2K or not, or, you know. But like, you know, you don't think people would do that, would pretend to do something, but it's like January 6th, the feds hanging out, going along with Trump supporters, and starting all this ruckus. And then it's like, no, they do this all the time. They did this at the Christmas bombing in Portland, the Christmas tree bombing, pretending to be that guy's friend, the FBI, and then, you know, befriending him and then letting him think he's got a blow up switch that they put together and pressured him to pushing. They knew that it didn't work, but it's just that kind of a thing. Anyway, a lot of this stuff, I don't know how many real, you know, because if you read the books, there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or a million. And it, you know, you would think that with all those people, there'd be a lot more marches outside, not just stuff on the internet, you know, because to get the word out, Dr. Matt and some of the Freedom for Target individuals, there'd be more out there, not just the internet online, because some groups did go out and at the White House, and God bless him, because Dr. Matt and Ella Free and Mark Williams from Targeted UK in London went in front of the BBC. That's what should be done. And of course, I am thankful. God bless Derek Robinson, Pax. Targeted Justice, for at least, you know, putting those things out there and trying, and Roy, Target Individuals United, you know, Target in Massachusetts, Frank Allen. There's now a TI Street. I'm just so thankful that they're putting stuff out there. They know that a lot of these, some are real, some are just, they get crap. They have to put up with a lot of stuff, but I'm tired of dealing with, when you've been waiting so long, so many years of your life, 37, 38 years now for me, you're just glad that there's somebody. And even though the majority of the people in my town, and that's what hurts, are Christian, and they're doing this to me. And it's something I would have bet a year's salary that these were good people. They wouldn't do this, you know. And, but I'm just hoping maybe they didn't know all the details or something, but it really makes you, yeah. Anyway, I'm thankful for Ella Free and Dr. Matt and the other people, Derek, Frank Allen, Justice, the people that at least they put the videos out there. And Target Individuals Unite with Roy, Mark Williams, Target UK, Stop EG. There's a bunch of sites, and they kind of keep things connected. Now, every once in a while, we get information that's not always good, or fake, but that creeps through. And I don't really know. I just hope by writing these videos, what I'm trying to do is let people know also that that's one of the things that I don't hear people talk about, is how this affects your sense of self. Is that when it hits you in the side like this, the heart, implanted DEWs. I mean, what do you mean implant? Like they leave an, yeah, I'm saying like pacemakers, like my mom had a knee operation, they put some, whatever, not aluminum, but titanium. It's an implant. They put stuff inside bodies all the time that are implantables. That's the term for it. That's what they are. They're implantables. But if the government has an implant, they've been doing this stuff for years. But we don't know the numbers, and there's a lot of fake. They can't say, I mean, when you're real, you know that it is real. Just like Havana syndrome. I just hope that they put the pressure on. It's a shame that people, especially of the religious faith, that they just say no because something's wrong, or they try to genuinely help and do the right thing because it's so obviously torture's wrong. Not because the deep state and you get a big paycheck. That hopefully you really do drain the swamp, realizing you're part of a torture program. And it's like when MK Ultra happened in Canada, especially, it was ironically at McGill University it was called Allen, at the Allen Institute. And that's my name, by the way, Allen. I didn't create it. I was born in 1971 in Oceanside, California, near Camp Pendleton. My biological dad was a Marine sniper person before going off into Vietnam and all that. So anyway, it's just when it happens, when you get hit with these dues on the side, it takes away your sense of your ability to feel your normal emotions. It kind of gets blocked here because there's this, you don't know what it is while it's going on. You just know it's like locked in and you're not able to feel. It's like there's an constant electronic zzz or something that blocks the ability to meditate and pray and to be able to feel your normal emotions. And that takes away from your sense of self. You can still be rational unless they're hitting you in the head, causing your concentration to lapse. But in time, they're going to know. They're going to know that our towns, our big cities and towns, went along with MK Ultra, went along with this. And I don't know if the church meeting is like, I really do hope Dr. Fauci, I do hope Francis Collins, these brilliant men and women just that are part of these teams, that they'll finally just get tired of it and say, this is too cruel. This is not right. And put a stop to it and not wait for the legal system, especially after the bioethics in 2011, the White House bioethics meeting in 2011 and 2012 headed by Amy Gutmann, the University of Pennsylvania president, former University of Pennsylvania, and Dr. Christine Grady, which is Dr. Fauci's wife. A brilliant person in her own right. Brilliant. And there's like 9 or 10 other people on that panel. But you can see it because I have a video of those things, of the comment section, of people getting up talking about being a targeted individual. And so I want people to know that they definitely know, and just to put some pressure, because this is sick. And I just hope, I don't know if it's Illuminati or just I know for a fact that they can turn it off just from their fusion center or whatever, because I've had at least 10 or 11, 12 times where they have turned it off. And that's what it feels like. It feels like they just go zoop, like turn a knob, and then your heart just suddenly relaxes and feels normal and great, and you can feel again. It made me realize they could turn this off anytime they feel like. Anytime. They've not just done it once or twice, and they've kept it like that for a few hours. So I know that they can do this, and they've done it to me but me telling you, and it's like, I know it's real because I've had it not just once or twice, but 10, 11, 12 times. Just, they do this, and then you can instantly feel it within 5 seconds, And then, hours later, it's boom, back. So I've heard that this is not really government related. It can be part of the government, but they seem to be independent. I would say it's the government that has the technology for voice to skull. The Georgetown University, James Giordano, but they work with NASA, DARPA, DOD. They work with these American groups as weapons, and this is a slow kill. And normally the person dies before they even know what hit them after 15, 20 years, not 37 years and still alive. So, and after Havana syndrome, and the White House bioethics, and I hope Dallas and Salem and the Fusion Center, I hope you just stop it. Just let it be done, because as divided as this town is over the George Floyd thing, when this gets out, it'll ruin the reputation. I'm reminded of that movie, The Changeling, where the police, it's Angelina Jolie playing the part of the mother, where the police helped cover up. They give her a fake child that didn't even look like her son, that went running away or missing. And they forced her to pretend that the boy was hers, and she knew it wasn't. And everybody pressured until finally there was one minister in town that believed her and put pressure on the police and the government and said, let's not do this to this person. This is not right. And then now we have the internet. Now it's not just word of mouth, it's the internet. We can actually do something. And this has to get out. It's not just me, it's happening, but if this happens to other people, you'll be thankful that someone like me made a video to at least let you know what's happening to you. And that, it is part of, I have nothing against law enforcement. I've never had a problem with them, even in my hometown. Or I'm thankful for all the people in my town. That's why I never had enemies, and I was nice to them and they were nice to me. I would never have suspected it. I would have bet a year's salary that it wasn't true, and I would have been wrong. And anyway, I just really hope that for people I want you to know, sometimes for people who are going through it, they can try. For some people, high-powered magnets might be able to block some of it. Neodymium magnets, like 400, 500, 600 pole weight poundage. It doesn't weigh that much. It's just a small, magnet about, but kind of big. But that's the pole chart of 600, 4, 5, 600. And if you get a couple of them, it might take away some of the pressure of it. And there's different things, but really it's knowing that they can just turn it off and try to get your emotions more positive. And that's a real tough one. Of course, what they do is they pull the bottom of your side right here, and that creates a depression. See, what I've noticed, even though I went through depression all these years, it wasn't me so much being depressed because of it was just they pull on the lower part, which your heart's here, but it pulls on this side, and that act of pulling on it, pulling it down, that pressure down here creates a kind of a pain, a chronic pain that causes depression because you're always in that pain. And that makes, because you're in pain, you start thinking negative, depressing thoughts because you're in pain. And so a lot of the TI stuff out there is like, think positive, which is good. That's very good. And they use a lot of the Christian things, witnessing and Christian, biblical, because that seems to work to alleviate their conscience, before they off themselves, they gave themselves to the Lord, so they'll be in heaven. And it's like they did this to me when I was studying to be a minister, it just made me realize that the Drain the Swamp, wonderful religious evangelical town, yeah. Anyway, I just hope that I went in and I have a copy of it. The police made a report, told them about it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret anymore. I'm not trying to take your money. I don't want to sue you and take money. That's not, I want it to stop. I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to, I just want it to stop. I don't want to take your money. I just want this after 37 years to stop because I want to know, to get the feeling back. And I don't want to use this to get rich. If there's money, let it be given to other people who are TIs that are needing it too. I just want this back and normal. And that's what I wrote. Sounds like David was being tortured. Yeah. And then David was targeted individuals. Jesus was targeted. Remember somebody was saying that somebody from Veritas, James O'Keefe, and I don't remember him having a V2K or being hit with Havana syndrome. They're messing with my electronic harassment. I'm here to tell you electronic harassment is real. They literally have, with the guy and gal voice at the Fusion Center, I'm guessing. It's not a fun job. I feel a little bad for them because literally, it's like, well, don't you think you're something? Why would they all follow you? What's so great about you? It's like there isn't. I just know that, I'm a subject of experimentation, and they pay people pretty good money, I'm guessing, to make me their experiment and to do this zap, to look at my thoughts. For people who aren't aware of that technology, it sounds weird, to read your thoughts, look at your thoughts. They have that technology. When they have people who are crippled, who can't communicate, like Stephen Hawking in the later years, he could have a thought and they put an implant, call it whatever you want, a biometric, a little antenna or something, in his scalp, underneath the hairline, and they were able to read his thoughts and print it on a computer, and he could read it and communicate. That's mind reading. They can do that now. That's how Stephen Hawking communicated, and that's how people with some of those illnesses can actually communicate now. It's wonderful. It's unfortunate. It's horrible that they use that same technology to hurt innocent people, So, Beach Walker, in Face, it seems the devil is behind all the bad crap that goes on, the eternal struggle between good and evil. I know a lot of, I'm just amazed at what money and capitalism, and I just never would have thought the people of my conservative religious town would do this, or the cops. I didn't know many of them, but 37 years of doing this and not telling me, and I had to wait. You think there'd be some kind of the Holy Spirit would prick their conscience or something and try to do the right thing, especially after I know about it, after I went to the Aloe Free Rally, after I tried to warn other people it could happen to them. And I wrote in front of City Hall, don't target me and don't do this. I tried to warn it could happen to them. This was in November 2019, a couple months after the Aloe Free Rally. And then 2 months after that, that's when the COVID started happening. So people were wondering, are they going to try to do this to other people? But I haven't heard other TIs talk about that lately. I mean, they don't talk about the loss of the sense of self, and they don't talk much. They did it at the time of COVID, but you don't hear much about that. So anyway, I hope it's not, obviously. I've tried to warn people about it, but I didn't tell people not to because I didn't know if it was or wasn't. I wasn't going to tell people to take a life-saving drug or a medication or a vaccine if it's going to save them. But I don't know. I just told them our government was trying to torture people and doing this to people, but how they were doing it through technology or medicine, I don't know, but I just told them this was going on. So after it takes the dogs to run, hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas and have peace. And I hope you do too, Beach Walker, in Jesus' name. Anyway, I hope, I'm going to try to do some writing and write some letters and do something registered mail. Hopefully that'll, because I did something for, sent another thing to Senator Wyden. It's my second or third, but I did a couple to, before to the ACLU, a couple to, the government. Anyway, so I'm going to try to do that. So anyway, I just thought, hopefully this can help people understand what they're going through. And with Havana syndrome, if you get down, realize most people do know about Havana syndrome. And that's how to relate to people. So, all right, love you guys, and I hope you're doing good. All right, I'll talk to you later. Let's see.